I don't care if he's dead. Put him on the phone. My father died on Father's Day, 2012. He was divorced and living alone, and I'm an only child, so that means I had to wrap up all his affairs. The story centers around us trying to get his utilities canceled. I called in to see what we had to do to get them canceled. The lady I spoke with on the phone said to send in his certified death certificate. I sent in the certified copy of his death certificate the next day. The next month I got another bill. I called again, and a new woman answered. She said that because I wasn't on the account, she had to speak with the account holder. I informed her that the account holder was dead, but she wouldn't budge. Apparently I had to make an appointment with a supervisor so she could speak to my dead father in person. I showed up at the Board of Public Utilities with another death certificate and his ashes in a clear bag. I casually plopped them down in the center of her desk and told her to say hi to him for me, and that I loved him and missed him. The woman went pale, flew out of her chair, and called the cops. When they showed up, she claimed that I had assaulted her, and yes, my dad's remains were still sitting in the middle of the desk with the death certificate. The cops questioned me as to why I would do that. I told them the story. The supervisor's boss was called in, and they all stepped away from the desk for a private talk. While they were talking, the cops came over to talk to me. They said that I shouldn't take human remains out in public, but there were no laws that were broken. I said that I agreed with them that it was extreme, but she insisted to speak with him in person. By then, they were done talking between themselves. The supervisor's boss kissed up to me and got it taken care of. But the story isn't over yet. I had to call back a few days later and get utilities back to the house in my name. When the person on the phone saw the address and my name, I was immediately put on hold. The supervisor's boss that helped me eventually got on the phone. She sucked up to me and waived all the fees that usually come with setting up utilities. Just as the call was ending, she informed me that she was again so sorry for the employee's lack of compassion. She also said, since then, the employee had been terminated and apologized again. Was told to actually read the policy, so I did. I work for an office, and we have an 8-week busy season, with mandatory overtime, 12 to 14-hour days. During this time, the company agrees to reimburse us for dinner, up to $13 per meal. We just have to submit a claim, along with our receipts at the end of the busy season. Food options around my work aren't great, so I usually bring my dinner from home. But sometimes I'm too tired to cook after a long day, so out of the 8 weeks, I purchased maybe 10 meals. 3 of those meals I spent $13.50, going 50 cents over the limit. This resulted in a whopping $1.50 overage, which my manager said was no big deal and that I could include on my expense claim. He signed off on it and everything. A few days after I submitted my report, head office emailed me saying they rejected my expense claim and that I could resubmit after I removed the $1.50 overage. I wrote back saying my manager was fine with the $1.50 overage and even signed off on it, and they responded by telling me that they do not allow overages under any circumstances and that the $1.50 must be removed or they wouldn't approve any of my meal expenses. They ended their email with advice that I should actually read the company policy next time. Fine, they were right and I was wrong, so I decided I'd read the policy very thoroughly before redoing my expense claim. Yes, the policy clearly stated a $13 maximum on purchased meals. Oh, and what's this? The policy also allows a $10 per diem for meals you bring from home. I very happily removed the $1.50 overage and added an additional $300 for my 30 meals that I had brought from home. I should definitely read the company policy more often. You want an aisle seat? Certainly, sir. My mom has worked for a major airline for 35 plus years. She started off as a gate agent, which back in the 90s, including assigning seats right before departure. While working a flight to Fort Lauderdale, an older man approached the desk and demanded that his seat be changed. The following exchange took place.
You need to change my seat. I'm not sitting in the middle seat. I want an aisle seat.
I'm so sorry, sir. We have a full flight today. Let me see if I can.
I don't care. You need to change my seat to an aisle seat.
Certainly, sir. Let me see if I can.
I don't care how you do it. Just get me an aisle seat.
Certainly, sir. The old man was leaning against the counter, refusing to leave without a new boarding pass. My mom paged a different passenger. We'll call him Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith came up to the counter. Good afternoon, Mr. Smith. I'm so sorry to bother. This gentleman here is requesting an aisle seat, and I see that you are seated in one. Would you mind terribly if we upgraded you to first class so that this gentleman can have your seat?
Oh, sure. Of course. Thank you. That's so kind of you. But I wanted the first class seat.
The first class seat is a window seat, sir. You specifically and repeatedly requested an aisle seat. Here's your boarding pass for your aisle seat. Have a pleasant flight. Next passenger, please. The old man's seat was originally in row 10, and Mom moved him to row 34, right next to a family with kids. Friendly reminder to always be polite to airline staff.